Welcome to Memphis Monday 107. Today we're going to be making a bandsaw cabinet. You know, over time we've been upgrading our shop furniture, trying to get everything the same theme and same utility, a lot of storage and so forth. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Hatchets ready, paper hats ready. So let's knock off that chit chat and get to work. Here's the current stand for the small bandsaw. It's not particularly ugly. It came with the bandsaw. I added these wheels, but the wheels don't lock very good and doesn't have any storage. And I think we can do better. Let's go look at the plan. Interlude here. You might hear a little heater running in the background. This is our checkering job from last week, and I just put some oil on this thing, and it's kind of chilly out here, and I want that oil to dry, and so I put a little heat on it. I don't have any elaborate plans for this cabinet. You know, we built, I don't know, a lot of them, so we really know how to do it. So, but it's going to be have 3 drawers. The cabinet itself is about 20 inches square, and the top and the bottom will be 24 inches square, and then it'll have some high-dollar wheels. Fact is, if truth be known, it's going to look a lot like the table we have for the drill press, except it'll have a larger bottom and be about 4 inches taller, but it'll be the exact same style. And here's all our hardware: our high-dollar wheels, our high-dollar drawer slides, and our drawer pulls, which are consistent with the drawer pulls we've done on other projects. Okay, to cut out the middleman, I got our carcass roughed out here. It's still going to have a bottom and a top, but I'm going to install those after I install the drawers. I build and install the drawers. But before we build the drawers, we need to put the drawer slides in so that we know how wide to make the drawers. Okay, the distance we have to span here with our drawer guides is 18 7/8. Let me show you how I do that. This is a perfect example of why I sometimes use metric. You know, I prefer imperial, but when I have to do operations on measurements, it's a lot easier to use metric. This distance right here that I have to span is 18 7/8. Well, if you take 18 7/8 and divide it by 3, you got to do all this arithmetic here. You got to divide 18 by 3 and then 7/8 by 3. And the answer you come out with is 6 7/24. Well, it almost always happens that way, that it's some fraction that you have to, that's not on your measuring tape, and you have to interpolate. This is almost, it's a little bit more than 6 1/4 inches. But when you use metric, it's 47.7 centimeters, and just divide that by 3 and you come out with 15.9. So, you know, it's a one-step operation, and the answer is exactly the same. It's 6 1/4 inches. The first line's at 3 1/8, and the last line's at 3 1/8 from the top, and then these two are 15 and 15.9 between them. But this is so much simpler and much more exact because you don't have to do any interpolation with these answers here, and you don't have to do all the arithmetic. And as you've seen me do 100 times, I just take those measurements and make these little measuring boards. This one right here is 3 1/8 inch wide, and I just put it in there and mark it. And I know that a drawer guide has to go on there. And for my second line, this is the one that's 15.9. Measure that one. And then my last line is 15.9 also. And then as a check, I can just measure this distance right here, and if it's 3.8 inches, I can know that my other lines are right. What you just saw me doing is making the dados for that'll receive the bottom. And what I'm doing here is nailing together the boxes. Here's a dado you saw me making a while ago. And so the dado has a dado on 3 sides and has this short back on it. And the bottom slides in like that. And then you just staple it. And if we'll come over here and make sure it's going to fit. Okay, I'll make the other 2 drawers and we'll be on a roll. I'm going to go ahead and install these drawer slides or drawers. Shouldn't take very long. I've got a marking jig here that will give me the center line of the box so I don't have to measure. Not I don't have to measure, but it's also more accurate. Well, 2 down, 1 to go. We've got our 3 drawers installed. 100% pull out. They're all nice and flush. I'm going to wait to put the drawer fronts on until I get the trim on. And I can't put the trim on until I put the top and bottom on. So let's do that now. Our plans call for making the top 24 inches square, and the box itself is only 20 inches square. I'm reconsidering that. I don't think we want to do it. Let me show you why. Basically, I don't think we need to be doing that because then it won't be consistent with our other tables. I didn't make the top and the bottom bigger on any of these other tables, and I want them to all fit in and be cousins. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm going to be gluing, and then I'll use wood screws and brads to laminate these two pieces together. Then I'll do the same thing for the top, only for the top I'll put the screws in from the inside so you can't see them. Now we're really emphasizing this quite a bit because these screws aren't really necessary. When that tight bond 3 kicks in, these plywood pieces here aren't going to go anywhere. The difference in putting this bottom in, or the top in, is you need to screw it from the inside so you can't see the screws. This is the best way to start these screws. I learned this trick from a guy named Jimmy. So if you're listening, Jimmy, thanks. The project on the low workbench, so it's right next to the chop saw, so it'll help facilitate putting that trim on. But first we got to cut the trim. All the trim is going to be 1 7/16. It'll be 1 7/16 inch wide, and it'll have one rounded over corner. These are 16 gauge 1.5" brads. Well, this is the last of the top trim. Tell you what, let me, I'll finish up this, and then I'll do that bottom trim. Do it the exact same way. One thing to remember is make sure you have your gun set up where it's countersinking those brads so you can put some body filler in them. We got the top and bottom on, and we got the trim on. Still needs a little sanding, but I think we can start making the drawer fronts. Let's hit it. I'm gonna attach them right here. That goes like that. And then I made these little spacers. They go in there like that. And then the next one goes in here like this. And now that I have these in place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a brad through the drawer front into the box to temporarily hold these in place until I get them screwed from the other side. So these are 16 gauge 1.5" brads. So while I'm at it, these are a nice convenient place. I'm going to go ahead and put the holes. I've already got the holes started for the drawer pulls in each one, but now I have to drill through the box on the other side. Putting these drawer fronts on, you can't just drill or screw right into you can't just drill right into this oak with these screws, because they won't go in, and if they do go in, they'll likely crack the yoke. Now, nothing too excited about putting drawer pulls on. The only real excitement is the fact that I had to countersink the the holes back here in the back because my screws that hold the drawer pull on were too short. And here's our nice little drawer pull. It's exactly like the other ones. We're going to put the other two on, and man, we'd be putting wheels on this thing. Tell you what, I could do commercials for this for these wheels. I love them. Self-locking, ball bearings. It's hard plastic, rolls over bumps and stuff in your floor. Well, here's our little stand. Really turned out nice. Let's put some stain on it. Well, a little bit of stain, and we'll it'll be drum roll time. Okay, I'm moving her over on the new table. Holding the belt sander to the table using 2.5-inch bolts, and I'd like to report I drilled the holes for the bolts and they fit first try. Well, tell me that's not nice. We got plenty of storage, high dollar drawers. It's 100% oak. We got the new locking wheels that will hold this thing in place. I think we did okay. Well, that does it for another Memphis Monday. Memphis Monday 107, building the bandsaw cabinet. There it is, 100% oak, and high dollar wheels, high dollar drawer pulls for my small bandsaw. Got it attached. Got 1.5 inch thick plywood on top. Got it bolted to the top with 2.5 inch bolts. Haven't put any polyurethane on it yet, but I'll do that later. And I can't think of anything else. Oh yeah, make sure you like and favorite and comment and all that business. And but most important, make sure you're back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for playing along.